Hello, this is Debbie Kay with the League of Women Voters of Portland. You're watching Video Voters Guide. We are at the studios of MetroEast Community Media to interview candidates running for the May 2018 primary. With me today is Chrissy Reitz, running for State Senate 26th District. Chrissy, thank you so much for coming today.
Hi, Debbie. Thank you so much for having me.
Glad to have you. Tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're running for office.
Absolutely. I moved to Oregon about 20 years ago. I lived in Portland. I was a neonatal intensive care nurse at St. Vincent's. So just always the most fantastic job you could possibly have, taking care of about the most vulnerable population you could have. And I just loved it. And about 15 years ago, my husband and I decided to move out to Hood River. And then I actually found really the greatest job ever, and I got to be a stay-at-home mom. Have loved doing that. And then through my kids, I got involved in schools, first in their classrooms and then on the PTO. And then, as I worked more and more with kids and more with the schools, I decided that I really wanted to be part of that conversation on a bigger level. And so I tried out for the school board, and I've been a school board member ever since. And that led, that was fantastic. I think that our schools in Hood River are just absolutely wonderful, some of the best. But when you deal with kids on that level, you realize that there's so much more that happens in their lives outside of the building. And so, I just kept seeing kids that I thought were getting this great education, but weren't still able to reach where they wanted to reach. And then you realize that, some of them come to us from having slept in a car. Some of them come to us not having eaten since the last meal that the school district provide. And then some of them, it's as simple as they haven't interacted with an adult since they left our school bus the day before. And so I looked at that and I said, education to me is the bedrock of everything, but you have to support kids outside of education. You have to support these other things if you really want them to have the opportunity to really gain as much as they can from what you do in those walls. And so I said, you know what? I'm gonna go to Salem and I'm gonna talk about some of these issues and really see the support that we can get for our kids and let them have the best shot at making it as far as they want to go. So that led me here.
Thank you. Well, tell us, what steps will you take to ensure that more Oregonians are qualified and hired for Oregon jobs?
Yeah. So again, through my lens as a school board member, I just think that education is the end all be all. I think that any healthy community, any healthy district, any healthy state really has to have a solid education fund, a solid educational system. And so for me, we have to start there. We have to make sure that our schools are funded well and that we are getting kids to where they need to be when they walk out the doors to continue on. And only then are you creating a pool of qualified workers. And if you're giving the kids the skills, then they are going to go into the job market really prepared for what they're going to do. And then in turn, businesses are going to be healthier. The community is going to benefit from that, and it's just going to be, a really great circular relationship. The ways that we need to do that is we need to prioritize funding for education. We need to make sure that we're taking into consideration, what people are telling us. The QEM has recommendations about how much we should be spending on schools, and that really should be our goal. That we are listening to the experts on what they're telling us and funding school at a priority that it needs to be funded. And really, to answer the question about Oregon jobs, we need to prepare our kids in our schools to be able to either go directly into the workplace right from high school with CTE jobs, or else to go into the next level education. If that looks like a 2-year degree, a 4-year degree, career, any sort of the technical and education schools. And so we do that by, I think, partnering with industry, bringing some of those trade unions into our schools, telling kids that there are so many different options, and that they don't have to follow a path that somebody else has sort of set for them. Also, just in Hood River, we benefit from having in situ right across the river in white salmon, and that has just been a fantastic relationship of those real world jobs coming into our schools, talking to the kids, showing them what's possible, and then our kids graduating and finding jobs right there in their hometown. So, in order to really have the workforce that Oregon needs, we need to start in the schools.
Thank you very much. Oregon traditionally has a budget shortfall. How will you address this challenge?
I do a budget every year, being on the school board, and so I have felt firsthand what a budget shortfall feels like.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really it's difficult when you are when you have a certain set of numbers and you need to fill all the holes. We sometimes forget that those numbers are related to people and to services, and so I think that's the way I'm always going to come at it. We have to make this budget work, but you also have to recognize that when you do this, it has a consequence here. And so I just really want to make sure that we're having conversations that sort of involve all stakeholders, bringing people together and really prioritizing what we want to do with our budget. And that being said, Oregon has a real revenue problem. Back the voters spoke to us with Measure 5 and Measure 50, but because of what they said, it created a bit of a budget shortfall, and we haven't adequately addressed that since that time. And we've sort of been running on less money than we really need. And so because of that, and because I know that our our schools and other public services aren't getting what they need, I am open to talking about an updated tax code for Oregon. I really want to get out there and again bring together the stakeholders, but I'm looking for all members to give a little bit. I'm looking to corporations to say, hey, this is an investment in the state in which you have come to have your business. We need you to invest in it. We're giving you this amazing place to call home, an amazing state to come to, and we're wanting to offer you a really good workforce. But because of that, you also need to invest in it. And we ask the people that live here to do that, and so we need to make sure that we're having everybody that benefits from a strong strong state to also invest in that state. And the one thing that I will say though is that with that, if I'm going to ask you to invest, whether you are a private citizen, whether you are a corporation, I need to make sure that your money is being spent well. And so as a legislator, I would make sure that we have systems in place that allow you, no matter who you are, to see what we're doing with your money. That money is very hard earned, again, whether you're a business, whether you're a private citizen. If I'm asking you to invest, you should be asking me, is it working? How's it working? Where did you put it? And what are your outcomes? What can you show me that your outcomes? And I'd like to make sure that there's a system that's easy for people to use, that really gives them that interaction back and forth. So I'm looking at asking for investment, but I'm also telling you that I'm going to show you what I'm doing with your money. And something I'm very proud of is as the Hood River County School District has had 4 unmodified audits in the last couple of years that I've been on the school board, and so that's what it's saying.
I'm going to have to
Excuse
cut you off. I'm sorry.
That's all right. It goes so fast.
This has been the Video Voters Guide. Thank you for watching. The primary election is Tuesday, May 15th. Be sure to inform yourself about the candidates, any ballot measures, and remember your vote counts. Thank you.